and be able to see those as we go.
Beautiful. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight in our kinesiology and frequency-based information session. So we wanted to start this at the start of the year because in the background, myself and Paige have been working towards combining a new course, but we're also both work with both kinesiology and frequency. Kinesiology more maybe the last 20 years and frequency for the last 5 years, but we'll get into that a little bit more. So we just wanted to welcome you to the information session, just to learn a little bit more about both of us as well as what we've been doing in our journey. So we'll be talking tonight a little bit about who we are. So we'll introduce ourselves shortly. Our introduction to the AO scan, which is a bioresonance device based on frequency. So if anyone's new to that, we'll have a bit of a chat about that. How we use this particular software and device. And how we're kind of combining it with our skill set of kinesiology and combining it with frequency medicine and sort of where we're kind of heading with that. And just a few other things we'll just chit chat about. It's more just to, introduce in a different way to our journey and what we've been doing. So, thank you. I'm Amanda and I'm down in Melbourne. And I've been, well, in the, I guess, frequency medicine, kinesiology arena since 2001 when I studied for 4 years kinesiology down here in Melbourne. And so I've been a full-time practitioner all that time. So I've had a practice, I've run workshops, I've taught. And then in lockdown, I met the beautiful Paige. She's also co-hosting with me today. And she introduced me to the AO scanner. So, and that was in lockdown in 2020 or 2021, was it?
I think it was 2021. I think we get a little confused, but yeah, I think it was 2021.
Yeah, and
Mm.
I was prominently working online, obviously, in that time because we weren't allowed to work as an essential worker down here in Melbourne. And it was like I had been asking for something, either a new modality, a new way to work, earn income, and a new way to, I guess, do what I love. And this sort of landed in my hands. And my intuition was just like, you need to get onto this straight away. And yeah, I was probably one of the first ones in Melbourne who bought it in and started to use it online, which we'll talk a bit more about as we journey in. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm down on the Mornington Peninsula and I live with my partner and my little dog, Happy.
Beautiful. Well, I'm Paige, and yeah, I guess I've been in the healing world now since 2006 when I had my own kind of miraculous, is what I say anyway, healing. Maybe it's never really miraculous, but I stepped away from the medical model because they basically told me they couldn't help me anymore. And at that stage, they'd said to me I would never have children, and they didn't know how to stop some breakthrough bleeding that I was having, which was pretty chronic. It was months that I had been bleeding. And that led me to my first natural therapy that I discovered after one session. It sort of stopped all of the things, and that led me on a whole world of discovery. And so from 2006, I stepped into being a practitioner. At first, it was part-time because I was an engineer. And so I was trying to balance the two, which was really funny. And then I met my soulmate and fell pregnant fairly quickly. And then I moved into natural therapies sort of after that because he basically said, "Why are you doing this if you don't like it? Why don't you just do what you want to do?" So I now have three children, so definitely proved the medical system wrong. Just I started my kinesiology training in 2011. No, yeah, 2010. And then moved into a different type of kinesiology and then started to teach. And I taught for 7 years. And that sort of came to an end. I think it was last year. No, maybe it was the year before. Oh my gosh, the years are getting blended. Anyway, came to a natural end, and that gave me the space, I guess, to birth what Amanda and I have been working on for the last year. And it really feels like a birth, this work, coming together and just, bouncing back and forth and really wanting to bring to the world this technology, which we both embraced, through our kinesiology practices, but also to bring with it the best of what we've learnt over the years. Because when you become a practitioner, you often learn a lot of different things, and not all of them resonate, I suppose. And so I find that I've refined things down over the years. And what I really want to offer is what works for me and what I've been able to do, work with over the last lot of years, 18 years really in the natural health field. So that's pretty much who I am. Three boys now, and a partner, and a little puppy dog that you saw before. And I live in Brisbane. So, oh, well, not Brisbane, Tambourine area. So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, welcome. So we're just going to just touch on like our mission of why we're kind of doing this. And we're both, as Paige said, both been I guess kinesiology frequency type person, what like one-to-one, face-to-face in our practices and taught. And then we've had this beautiful technology that, we can access from anywhere in the world on an internet. Um, on a computer, on our phone, and I guess we're wanting to show how to combine this together and bring those in. So we're here to create that sort of movement together, and it's called Quantum Energetics Global. So we're combining the two, and later on, well, hopefully early on this year, we will be birthing the practitioner course, which is called Quantum Energetics Global. And it's a portal for transformation, and it's combining a couple of different modalities together. We've got frequency medicine, kinesiology, we've got bioresonance, and we've got quantum tools. So we're also very much into bringing in other types of tools, such as the PMF mat, red and blue light therapy, which you can use on your wrist and also on the body. Terahertz wand. Paige has also got some other instruments I don't have, like the AO hub, which works on the brain. So
Mm.
we want to just show people how to combine that in a practitioner mode. So yeah, we're blending kinesiology, energy medicine, bioresonance technology, and our mission is to empower people everywhere to access this deep healing, personal sovereignty, and meaningful income. So not only being able to have an income at home, in a clinic, in a community, online, showing you different ways to maybe become a practitioner too, because we want to teach people how to use these tools with confidence. And they're for lay people or for practitioners already wanting to expand their offerings. So we want to leave a legacy of freedom, integrity, and aligned success where energy work becomes not just a lifestyle, but a service too. So we just want to introduce you to that.
Beautiful. So I flicked ahead a bit quick then, sorry. So, is there anyone here who hasn't heard of the AO scan before? I'll just have to pull up the chat. Yep, okay, I can see you there, Anthea. Is anyone else? I can't see, I didn't see, couldn't see everyone on the screen. Is anyone else who hasn't heard of it? Even if you pop it in the chat so we can see that. Um, okay, great. Kate, excellent. So there's a few people here. So basically, the AO scan is a bioresonance technology, and it has a number of different abilities. One of, and when we're working with this work, it's never about diagnosing and it's never about healing, okay? But it is about bringing the body into balance. So this bioresonance technology can scan and balance the body. It can provide detailed reports. I actually worked with a different technology before this one, and that was in 2020, which is why I sometimes get confused about 20 and 2021. And when I was first introduced to that, I loved it because it showed me that frequency could work outside of my own energy field because I was used to working with frequency through my own hands and I trusted that and I knew I could send it all over the world and work with people all over the world, but I didn't trust that a machine or a technology could do that. So the first technology I worked with kind of allayed all those fears. I had some excellent, amazing experiences with it, but it was a bit deficit in some ways. And the detailed reports was one of them. This one also is able to analyze your emotions. Now, not only it analyzes the emotions, it provides a personalized sound therapy to help bring you back into balance. It can send frequency playlists. So, like we set up our Spotify playlists and things like that, this will actually, you can go in and select specific frequencies. So, for instance, sleep's always been one of my arch nemesis. And so my sleep playlist isn't just sleep or insomnia, although those are in there. It's things like mag tissue salts. It's a liver support because I know that I wake up at liver time, with when we look at the meridians and things. It's like peace, calm, and tranquility. It's stress-free. It's all of those factors
Yeah,
that
no, I keep
affect
my
my
cameras
sleep.
off.
So I'm just going to mute you right there. Oh, that's muted. Beautiful. Yeah, so that's amazing. So we can come up with these different playlists, create homeopathic remedies. So we can actually imprint homeopathic remedies or send them via frequency. We can also do this with flower essences, essential oils, and we have a full suite of tuning forks, which is phenomenal. There is also full body system scans. And not only does it scan the body system, I think there's 13 different body systems in there, it then tells you what the emotions are connected to those body systems. So when we start to get into the kinesiology side of things, we can start to, go deep really quick with that information. It also has dental scans and so much more. So much more. We're hoping to get a little bit of time to actually show you on the screen some of this information as well, so you can actually see what it looks like. But you can see in this image here, that's the AO scan actually performing a scan there in that image. And as Amanda said, it can be done on a laptop or a computer. It can also be done through the phone and also like an iPad or a tablet kind of scenario as well. So very flexible. So this work is expanding, and I don't know about you, but I know that everywhere I look now, maybe it's just the confirmation bias on all social media, but there seems to be a lot of talk about frequency. Has anyone else noticed that? Hand up if you have. There's PEMF, there's terahertz, there's, the red and blue light therapy, red light therapy is everywhere at the moment. And so this is becoming really mainstream, and there's a lot around about sound therapy and binaural beats, and there's just well, in my reality anyway, it seems that it's all becoming really mainstream and not so much in the woo-woo factor anymore, which is fantastic. So we've got things like light-based therapies. We've got it's so funny actually when I say growth across wellness, physio, sports medicine, and rehab. I took my puppy dog to a rehab vet, and he had a PEMF mat. And I said, "Oh, I've got one of those at home." And he's like, "Well, put the dog on it every day with you." And you know what? That's what she does. She sits on the mat with me and loves it. I get in trouble if I don't put her up on the mat with me. So, it's definitely becoming quite mainstream. Um, so
Yeah, a
yeah, we're
lot
looking.
of wellness clinics today too. The big, in
Yes, big wellness clinics. Yeah, yeah. And that's all they have in them is some of these things, the PMF and the red light and the yeah. People are looking for non-invasive and measurable support tools. So that's why I think, that's why we're heading there. Frequency-based technology is moving into the mainstream. Absolutely. And Amanda, you've got a bit more information on that.
Yeah, like I mean, bioresonance, has been around, even though it's very, very new still. I guess it's like kinesiology 20 years ago. It was very woo-woo. People thought, are you a witch doctor? What is this? And now it's all over Instagram. Everyone it kind of uses it like they're like, I've got my private coach. It's kind of a little bit more mainstream. Well, it's a lot more mainstream and maybe a little bit more trendy in the last 5 years to be a kinesiologist. But when I started in 2000, it was very odd and very strange. And, no one thought I could make a career of it. And, I proved them wrong. So I've been doing that for 22 years. So I guess the bioresonance, can be a bit like that, a little bit like, how does this work? We're scanning people from across the world. We don't need them in front of us. We don't need that shop front. So it is still, that part of it is still quite new, which we're very excited about because, we are sort of at the front of that, and if people do want to join in and learn this, it is kind of quite still new. But, the more established things like RED and PMF and biofeedback regulation stuff is out there. And, this stuff hasn't really been around. It has been around for quite a while. If you think about um, everything in the body works via electrical signals. And so your brain, your nerves, your heart, your muscles, your cells all use this electrical impulse and signals. So this is the basis of biology. And so these are already in hospitals today. They've been there for a long time, like ECGs and MRIs and ultrasounds and pacemakers and TENS machines. They've all been devices that, we may not know that this is sort of like, frequency medicine in some ways that have been in a lot of our hospitals. So they're sort of now coming into our homes and we can use them into devices like our mobile phone. And, often, well, Paige would be doing this when we go traveling. We set some frequencies like EMFs to protect us while we're traveling, and we can do that on the touch of our mobile phone. So these sorts of, medicines are coming more mainstream that we, the layperson, can have it in our hand. And we can learn through different universities, all ourselves, all the community, how to use this. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. And it's just some facts and figures is that the wellness industry in the US, because a lot of this is from the US, is $6.8 million worth. And so it's now emerging nearly past pharmaceutical.
Is
So
that billion or million?
billion,
Billion, yeah. I think you said million. I was like,
a
that's not that
billion.
big, but yeah,
Yeah,
billion. Yeah,
billion.
yeah, yeah.
They say it's going to grow more and more and more. So we're going to see these devices more and more and more, not just in hospitals and physio clinics, but hopefully in our homes. And, me and Paige, we have got these in our homes. The PMF mat, the bioresonance, the red light therapy bands, the terahertz wands, and they're all for things like nervous system and pain and inflammation. And anyone can start to buy these and bring them into their home now for use in their family. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting. And I guess people are looking for things that, yeah, as Paige said, are non-invasive, low side effects, so they're safe. They help with recovery, pain, inflammation, sleep, and longevity, because I guess they're sort of some of the buzzwords out there in the mainstream at the moment. Um, you know,
Biohacking.
Biohacking, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so everyone's looking for things for nervous system regulation, for inflammation, for preventative. So yeah, this is kind of exciting that it's emerging, and we're sort of the front runners, hopefully, of that, and wanting to educate people more and more on that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, what we've found in our travels is where practitioners are getting stuck. So, we have been working for the last 5 years with a team of practitioners, and we've obviously been trying this on for ourselves, the technology. And, there's been a bit of trial and error. You can't hear my puppy dog at the moment. Can you hear her? No, good. Okay. I've got my Zoom settings on. Good. So what's happened though, I think in some cases is that sometimes these tools have been taught in isolation. And so people are not getting together and actually utilizing those together. So this is where we're finding that some people are getting stuck and then they may drop off and not be using them. Sometimes we have an over reliance on the tech or on the intuition. So this is where we see the blend of that kinesiology with the technology really a beautiful combination, let's just say. So where some practitioners get stuck is that there's no integration framework. So it's not like a structured framework where they can come into and go, okay, this is when I use this is when I use that, and they don't have a framework to work from. And then of course that can create confusion and it can also create misuse. So we want people to be ethical in their use, I guess, of frequency, but also, the work that we do with kinesiology as well. I think it needs to come from an ethical place and an authentic place as well. So this is where we've sort of noticed those sticking points with practitioners and, yeah, I guess a gap that we are hoping to fill with what we're launching. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and we're hoping it's a different way of working. Um, you know, both of us obviously have been shopfront type practitioners, one-on-one, renting out spaces or working from home. And, sometimes, obviously, since COVID, people might be looking at new ways to work. So we're going to be teaching multiple ways to work with your clients. So not only, face-to-face touch therapy, which, is where we started. You will learn that. But we're also teaching people, if you live in a different country and you want to work globally, and you want to work online, we're going to teach you how to combine the two modalities, work online or just work with the bioresonance on its own. So different ways, also income streams of group work, And, if you did want to build a different type of affiliated business, there's also opportunities for that, which we'll talk about if anyone's interested down the track. So, back in the day, like used to rent a shop front, pay big money, see lots and lots of clients, that can lead to a bit of burnout after 22 years in practice. So for me, I was looking at multiple ways to work, and this has helped me find that. And I guess that's what we want to introduce too. So, and it's also helps brings in a framework. So, obviously we've got both different experience in the kinesiology world, and we want to bring those in with our, I guess, our wisdom and what we love to work out with and what we think works. So we're going to bring that in. But if you're also an existing practitioner or have other skill sets, we're going to show you how you can weave that into this framework as well. And so, even though there's a bit of structure and, the framework can be quite masculine, we're both going to bring in a feminine way of working and teaching because we both work quite intuitively and quite creatively. And although you need the framework to learn how to be, the fundamentals and a good practitioner, we're also going to teach you like just the ways that we work and, be more creative and more intuitive and things like that. So we find that will be a different way to work because often, I've done so many courses over the years, and a lot of people are like, you have to stick to the protocol, and that's good. But after 20 years of working with clients, there's other ways to work too. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. There's pretty much all the modalities that I've learnt over the years. So this is the way, and this is the only way, and we don't combine anything with this, and this is it, And there's a lot of ego in that, I find, because everybody is different, right? And what you bring to the table and what your clients are there for, it all differs. And I think having that really dogmatic and structured and, rigid approach just doesn't suit. And so I used to actually get in a bit of trouble with my last course because I would say to people, let's throw in a bit of this and let's throw in a bit of that. And the lady who had developed that course, thankfully I didn't really get back to her, but some of what the other people were doing, it did, and she didn't like it, and she was very egoic about it and like, no, this is the only way, and it has to be taught this way, and you can't do it a different way. And to be honest, that was stifling. And I don't think that's the way of the world right now. And I think we need flexibility. So Amanda and I will be encouraging you to bring in your natural gifts and talents, whatever they may be. And we will show you how to put that in the umbrella or under the umbrella of kinesiology and within the bioresonance. And we'll also be teaching you how to tap in intuitively. I'm sure this is already a gift that you all have, but how to strengthen, I guess, that because when I'm in my sessions, that's when I'm in my most clearest flow. And we want that for you too. And so intuition comes through, and we just get into this flow state with clients. And I love that feeling of that synchronicity and that resonance. And then, everything and the magic flows from there. And the information that drops in, sometimes I'm like, where did that even come from? And then I'm like, oh, and I need to listen to that. So thank you, because often the clients are really a mirror, right? And they're showing me what I need to see as well. So anyway, that's, I think, what we're going to be bringing to the world, which I'm super excited about. Um, so why this exists. So, primarily to bring kinesiology and bioresonance together, to fill a gap that we've seen and to also make other income streams accessible. So, Amanda's already touched on this. Practitioner burnout's a thing. And it's a thing that we've both experienced, and it's a thing that we don't want other practitioners to have to experience and to go through. We are on the front line of what I believe is a really big transition happening in this world. And we've got big work to do in the world, all of us. If you're here on this call, you're in that space. And we have a job to do, and we can't afford to be giving from a cup that's empty. So we want, and we need to be rewarded. If we're going to continue to do this work, if we're not rewarded for our work, then we can't stay doing this work. It's just impossible. So we want to be, be able to be creative and to have different income streams. We want to train discernment, not dependence. I think that's really important. I don't created dependence with my clients. I'm very, some people would joke that I'm a bit of a commitment phobe actually, but I don't want people coming to me every single week if they don't need to be here. I mean, there might be a period of time where they're in crisis or whatever and they need to see me regularly. But most of my clients will come and see me for when they're challenged, and then they come back when they have another challenge, and that's what I love. And we're going to be training you in the same way, where you have discernment, not dependence on us. So to support ethical frequency work, which I touched on before, and to build your confidence, because we want you to be out there and working with this. And so that's our, why we've created this, why we saw a gap in the market, and why we're doing this really. So yeah,
Yeah, and I think, over the years, I've seen so many people who are brilliant practitioners, but not do anything with it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
also in the frequency world, in our collective, so
Mhm.
many people, could be doing more, or
Mm.
not sure quite what to do with it, or maybe not as confident.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's, yeah,
100%.
what we want to bring through. So yeah,
Definitely.
it's how we use these frequencies tools. Obviously through the kinesiology way. So, I mean, I'll just touch on a little bit how maybe I use the frequency tools. So, obviously my base is as a kinesiology practitioner, so I see a lot of one-on-ones. And depending on what's going on, I may bring the bioresonance tools out, like the terahertz wand. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's kind of like a big hairdryer, but it's got red and blue light frequency and terahertz, and it's really good for pain and inflammation. So it can clear things. So if people are coming in with pain and different things, that might come out as another tool, as another modality, as another type of remedy. I may check in on my bioresonance device on, if someone's come in with, back pain, maybe I'll scan their back and have a quick look and use that in combination with how I'm working in my session. Maybe I will make up a remedy for them, but not only do I have remedies that I have here in my clinic space in bottles that I give to people, like homeopathics and flower essences, I will use the frequency machine to imprint and make remedies up and send people home with that. Or I may imprint a frequency that's come up in the session and use it like on a Cephi dot, which is like an imprintable what is it, like a sticker that you,
Wearable. Yeah,
yeah,
like a patch. Mm.
like a patch, and we can put frequencies in there and put that on the body. So there's many different ways that we can bring it in, but ultimately we also want to send clients home with empowerment. So often, especially if you're working with me online, I use the frequency device a lot online because energetically it helps me not be in the session as much and surrogate. So it's more healthy for me energetically. But I will use the device in the background. But afterwards, to empower clients, you might get an inner voice, which helps to empower your emotional well-being, which is a part of the frequency device. And if we have time, we'll show you a bit more on that. And we have another device called Mind Sync, which helps to bring the whole session together as positive affirmations that you can listen to in your own voice with frequency music as well. And I guess if you choose to go, well, what is this technology? And, can I empower myself? Anyone can sign up to use this subscription, to use this technology and to empower yourself. And, even if you don't know how to use it, we can show you, the company can show you, and you can learn. And then that can be integrated into the families. I mean, I've had many families over the years reach out. I had one lady, oh, my mum's in India and she had cancer. Can you support my mum with a frequency device? And I said, well, I can, but it will cost X, Y, and Z over those 2 months. Or you can use this and I can teach you how. And then that led to a sister wanting to use the device. And we've got probably many stories about how that can then be integrated into your family life and empower yourself, your family, and your clients.
Absolutely. And it's not just that, it's the pets as well. So
Yeah.
I actually said to Amanda last week, I was like, I'll make a list of all of the scans that I do over the last 7 days, but I forgot. But I'll give you a little sample. So um, I have run frequency for quite a few animals over the last little bit. One of my favorite things to do at the moment is to run. So I also work with human design, which I may end up sharing a little bit in the course as we go along. But anyway, so I've been doing a human design report for horses that my friend, she has 14 horses. And then I've been running her frequencies as well for the horses. And then I've been combining these two. And I've trained my AI to give me a summary of all this thing. And my goodness, she's come back to me like completely blown away. Aside from that, I've run allergy frequencies. I've run probably like all of my clients get frequencies after the thing. So and the sound therapy. Oh, I've done a space clearing this week. Actually, I've done three space clearings this week because for some reason there seems to be a few spirits out and about at the moment, which has been quite successful. I had one lady who could smell a smell in her daughter's room, and they'd had an incident. So I had worked with her with the kinesiology, and I said, well, let's, just send the frequencies to your space for the next little bit. I did them for 3 nights straight, and she messaged me and said they'd gone. And then last night was the first night I'd skipped, and the smell came back. And I was like, okay, we'll keep going. Like, I think we need to continue this for another week or so. What else have I done? My partner had a pretty big accident on the weekend, so I've been running, shock frequencies and different things for him from afar because we were away when it happened. Yeah, just it just it's it, I can't go a day without it. And my daily routine includes, oh my goodness, that's right, Amanda, when you were talking about the tools before. I had a client the other day and she saw my red light mask and she was telling me she's got acne. She's only a young girl. And so she's like, oh, can I use that? And I'm like, sure. So I put that on her face. And she's like, oh, I've got a sore toe. So then I had the wand on her toe. I'm working with her on the bed. She's on the PEMF mat. I'm like, I'm going to cook you. Anyway, and then I'm doing the frequencies and then I'm sending her the sounds as well. So, that was just a classic. And I just said, I need to take a photo of this because this is so hilarious. And she was just laughing. But this is the way that you can start to integrate all of these. Also, I work with the wand in a different way. I actually have a few, so I hire one out. I got a message today from one of the top BMX riders in Australia for women riders, and this is the second, well, probably the third or fourth time she's had the wand actually, but she had a shoulder injury and she was about to go in for some state competitions and it cleared up within a few days. So she was able to compete at a high level by taking the wand and using that for herself. So that's also another income stream. I rent that out. I have what's called a hub, which is a sound, light, and cranioelectric stimulation machine. Pretty high end. It's for neural reprogramming. That's now been hired out to. I'm a bit picky about who I hire that out to, but I do have someone who's got that for the month because it's best to do that for 28 days straight. So this is the second time he's taken that for 28 days straight, which has been, basically I've paid off that piece of equipment through hiring it out for the month. So there's a lot of different ways that you can be working with these tools. So yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in because even though I use them in clinic, I find that at the moment I've got elderly parents and
Mm,
they're in their late 80s and I'm lucky that, half of the family believe in this technology and so my mum and her partner are always texting me, "Can you please send some breathing frequencies?" And Ken didn't sleep last night. Can you help him out with that? And when my mum fractured her arm, I would send, frequencies for that. So I really like that, I'm an hour away from them, that I can just, get onto my little phone, at any time of the day and, do some self-care for them, and
mm,
help them out. So yeah, I love that I've got that.
mm. And just on the note of self-care, I'm a little bit sporadic usually with my routines, but pretty much since I got the AO scan, I have a very strict daily routine and listening to the tunes, which is the sound therapy, and running my frequencies, it has become a ritual for me. And it's very rare that unless I don't have coverage or something, it's extremely rare for me not to do that. And I will say my boys do notice when I haven't done it, and they'll say, "Mum, did you do your tunes today?" Because they can tell. So yeah, definitely helps. So yeah, just on that self-care, like it's a beautiful tool for us to remain in alignment to be able to continue to do this work as well. So
Absolutely. I mean, I've got some frequency in the background going for me and Paige while we're doing this
Oh,
talk.
thank you. Love that.
So
So, yeah, you go.
yeah, I mean, this just probably continues on. Who are these tools for? Well, I mean, we do have a lot of practitioners in the collective, but it's not just for practitioners. And I guess if we're saying practitioners, there a lot of kinesiologists seem to be attracted to this, but we
Mm.
have Reiki practitioners, we've got massage therapists, homeopathics, naturopaths, um, osteos and chiros are kind of, I think there's a few around.
Yeah.
I think we've got a couple of GPs, haven't we, hanging around as well?
It's actually massive in is it Ecuador? I think there's like 30 or 40, a group of 30 or 40 doctors there that are using it. They have a different version, so the company has actually upgraded the access that they have and made it a little bit more technical or whatever, give them, yeah, but they are using it, yeah, which is exciting. It's so cool that they're able to do that. Unfortunately, Aussie doctors are a little bit scared of yeah, opera. But anyway. Yeah.
And I guess we don't diagnose. We're just a
No.
frequency device, which is looking for patterns. So this is more about preventative medicine and looking for patterns so that we have our own empowerment to, look at where we want to go with our health and well-being.
And that's the same for kinesiology, where it's all about bringing people back into balance. That's never the diagnosing. There's never any of that sort of stuff. It's just, yeah, the balance. Let's find the balance.
So yeah, they're for practitioners, but yeah, we also touched on that some families get on board. So, I mean, I had a family. I did a Zoom for a little girl this morning, and there was four girls, and they all wanted an inner voice before I got off the call. So, all the family, was at home listening to their music, but like lots of families want to use this technology to help. And I just had a girlfriend who bought the PMF mat, and it's for all her kids and her. And that's, she's not using it in a clinic. She's just using it at home for all her kids. They're all very sporty, and just to help them, repair and I guess rebound from any injuries quicker, that sort of thing.
Mhm. That's why I have to have multiple wands because my kids are into extreme sports and so is my partner. And we've got a rotation of, yeah, I have to have multiple. So I have at least two in the house and one out on hire. Anyway,
Yeah. And I
it is
guess
good.
it's for, people who resonate with wellness and they've got that as their value. So, you don't have to be a practitioner to use this. As I said, there's lots of ways to learn how to use this, whether you come on board and learn with us or just want to join up and use the technology, or maybe you're just into the red light therapy and you just want like, a something to support the back. And maybe you just want to start with the PMF mat or the terahertz wand and an inner voice. Like you don't have to be this wham bam practitioner to use this stuff. But we're going to teach you like basic stuff that you could start with to more really advanced stuff. So, and everything in between.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So we've touched on this before, but the income opportunity with this, of course, with the skills that we're teaching, you can become a practitioner, and that means you can do the one-on-ones, you can do the distance, you can, do all of those things. Um, as we mentioned, there is a lot of different tools that are available, and some people like to have them in the home. So this creates an opportunity because if you are the one that is sharing that with them, then there is a percentage that you will earn if they decide to buy that. So that's another income opportunity. Both myself and Amanda have built a team of practitioners, and that provides income for us on a monthly basis. I went and traveled Australia with my family. Oh, it's 2 years ago now. That hurts to say. But anyway, we traveled around, and my primary income in that time was from the AO scan from SolX, the company. And, as I traveled, I spoke to people about it. And so, but predominantly, I didn't do a lot in that 7 months, but I had a paycheck every month. Now, for a natural health practitioner who's used to seeing clients one-on-one and that's my main income, that was life-changing for me that I could still have income coming in while I was on the road with my family and enjoying a family trip. I still did the odd online, call and I supported my team, but it wasn't that I had to be present for X amount of hours every day. So that's seriously life-changing stuff. So there are multiple different ways. Now, when we teach you, the quantum energetics work, we are going to show you how to do group work. We have a group balance happening tomorrow, which will demonstrate a little bit of an online kind of group balance scenario. But we run different challenges. There is also opportunity to run. So sometimes I'll have a client just message and say, hey, can you just run, like Amanda was saying about her parents, can you just run me this frequency? I have COVID. That's a popular one. Every time someone has COVID, in my circles who know about the frequencies, like, can you run some frequencies? And I'll run them frequencies for a week. I don't even speak to most of those people. Literally, it's usually a Facebook message or a text message, and they say, hey, I've got this. Can you just chuck some frequencies on? And I'm charging for that. So, of course, it's my time and I have to set it up and all the things, but those types of things are just an addition to my normal income. And yeah, we will teach you how to run group programs. So if you love to work with a group, and of course, once you start to get groups, it's multiplying your income when you get multiple people. And of course, it's also lovely to work in a group energy as well. So there are just so many different ways to earn through this. And we just love being able to share that from a practitioner perspective, because of course, one of our big missions is to stop the burnout and to save others from having to go through what both Amanda and I have experienced at different times in our careers with the work that we do. So, yeah, anything you wanted to add to that, Amanda?
No, and I mean, I guess as I've been in it for so long, and I'm also a 50-year-old woman now that is in perimenopause, I can't hold as much space as I used to, and I want to do it in a different way by still being able to offer my wisdom. And I've done the hard work. I've done 20 years of seeing clients, and I'll still keep seeing clients, but I do want a different way to share my wisdom and to grow and bring in an income and mentor others. So this opportunity was perfect for me as an evolutionary step in my wellness business. Mm.
100%. And what I also love about it is when you are a sole trader or a practitioner, and I work from home predominantly. I have worked in clinics over time, but right now I work from home, and sometimes it can be a little bit isolating. So when I met Amanda and connected with my beautiful team, some of them or a lot of them were my students. Some of them were on the call tonight, and I loved that, and I loved being in that teaching space and being students. But then once they left, I didn't have that mentoring ability anymore. They kind of moved out into the world and did their thing. With this, I get to continue to mentor people, and I get to continue to link in with fabulous people who I love having in my field. And so, yeah, it's kind of like this continual thing, which I just enjoy so much. So, yeah, love that. Where we're heading. Mhm.
Well, I guess we kind of, answered that. We want, deeper well-being for ourselves, but for others, and expanded results where, we're adding many different modalities here. It's not just you're qualified in kinesiology, you'll be, it's all different types of frequency medicine. We're combining it all. There's different ways to get results. And so, you might be like in one section go, well, I just want to use the scanner and I don't want to do the kinesiology. So, or I want to use both, or I just want to do the group work and that's it. So, there's many different modalities you can bring in, different ways and different ways to get your results. And, so yeah, these are our like new skill sets that we want to bring in and share. Um, and it's global because it's going to be an online course. And a lot of the stuff that we do, in the Australian community, is online. But you can do it face to face as well. But we want to sort of reach other people, not just our suburbs. So, I'm in Melbourne and Paige is in Queensland, and we want to combine this wisdom all online, but there will be some face to face in there as well.
There will. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. So your invitation. So we are, I think a number of you have already heard about this, but we're actually offering a group balance tomorrow night. And we're going to be showcasing a little bit of how we can use this technology combined with the kinesiology. So, and the theme for this is the pre-fire horse balance. So we're preparing for that fiery horse because of course that doesn't come in until February. But I don't know about you, but I'm feeling that momentum already picking up. And actually, it's scaring me a little bit. So it's about releasing, gently releasing the beautiful year of the snake that we've just had. I don't know if everyone will call it beautiful because it's certainly been a year of transformation, which is sometimes not that much fun. But yeah, releasing that and stepping into this new kind of yeah, new momentum, let's say. So that's one opportunity that you can, your invitation to join us for that. That will be tomorrow night. We can share the link with you after this if you're interested. But beyond that, we are taking basically expressions of interest for people who are interested in taking this a step further and studying with us. So we can also share that with you if you have any interest in that.
Yeah, and also like if you're not interested in the course and just want the scanner or just want the quantum tools, we can talk to you about that as well.
Yeah, so lots of ways to link in. And finally, do we have any questions? So I'm going to just go into the chat here to see if there's been any that we've missed. Oh no, everyone's been very quiet. But yes, if there are any questions that anybody has, because we're more than welcome. And if not, we can also jump in and just show you around the AO scan quickly if that's something that you would like us to do.
We've got one question. When are you starting the program?
Amanda?
We haven't got a set date, but it is this year, and it will be, we're hoping, the first quarter of the year it'll be ready to launch, aren't we? About March, April, we're hoping.
Yeah, I think realistically we've got a couple of things on in March, so I feel like it's going to push into April, but April is feeling right for me, definitely. I think I mentioned to someone it would be March, but I think we're going to be pushing it with the few events that we've got on. So yeah, April it is. Hmm.
April is the true new year, so perfect. Oh, I love that.
Ooh, excellent. Yep. Okay. Thank you. You've just sealed that for us. Love it. Okay, we've got some work to do. Oh, it's good. We're getting.
Yes, it's all been written, it's all been done. It's 12 modules. And yeah, it's
Well,
just a little bit of
13
admin.
kind of.
13, yes, 12 modules and a retreat at the end, which will be a 4-day retreat held in Queensland.
Yes. And I think I might have just found the retreat space today, literally today. So we'll see
Oh,
how we go.
beautiful. The one you sent me this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do we have another question? I am interested and would like details for the course. How long does it go for, Sammy? Yeah, well, we have the 12 modules and we will be running that across, well, it'll probably run into November, I would think now that we're, yeah, starting it in April. Um, Look, it is the pilot course, so we are going to be truly in flow and just seeing how that flows. But we will plan for the retreat to be probably October, November. Um,
It'll probably be
and
because I'm in America.
sorry, what was
I'll be
that?
in America September, October, a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
so
probably October, November
yeah.
is when we will plan for the retreat, which will hopefully be the completion of that. However, we just have to, because it is the pilot program, that is the first one. It may extend a little bit beyond that. It certainly won't go any less than that. I know that for a fact because there's a lot to cover. But yes, that's where it will be at, we think, Sammy. So.
And because it is the pilot, it's the first release, it is going to be at a quite a discounted rate for first time people into our course.
Yes, that's right. So Susie's just asked about that as well. So we're interested in the course and how long and how much.
Yes, so we can, if anyone is interested in knowing more, we can organise a chat between with me and Paige, and we can go through,
Cool.
exactly what you'll be learning in each module and the price.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and so how long it will be? Yeah, so let's say, yeah, is that 7 months? To
Yeah,
the,
I mean, I
yeah.
guess we'll just see what the pace of everyone is. We'll have a bit of a framework, but it might shift depending on where everyone's at and how they're
Yeah.
learning.
And that's the fluidity of it as well, right? Because that's exactly it. We might have everybody, bang, 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 already all over the things and wanting to move forward at a quicker pace, which we'll have the capacity to do. But we may also just need that little bit extra time for people to, drop into it and really fully embody it. And so I feel like that flexibility is. yeah, is important. But the framework will be basically, we think we will release every couple of weeks a module online, and then we will have you'll have that time to kind of go through it, and then we will have a mentoring call, basically, where we will, talk you through any of the activities. You'll get to swap with each other and all of those things, so you start to embody all the tools as we go along. So yeah, so that will be good.
I guess
And
the first year you can become a bioresonance practitioner,
yes.
but you won't be a kinesiologist just yet because we have to take that through and get it licensed and
Which
qualified.
we'll be doing in the background as we're running the program, but we do need to get that certified through the IICT. That's where we'll be doing that, because that's the main one in Australia. And once that's done, we can roll it out globally as well. So yeah, that will be happening in the background as we're studying. But you will be a qualified, yeah, by doing the bioresonance side of things, you'll be a qualified bioresonance therapist. So then you can work with that. And of course, you can just happen to throw in a bit of kinesiology as you're doing that, right? So, yeah. And until we get you completely qualified there. Yes.
How perfect. Yes, I think that we've done all the questions.
Yes. Excellent. Do you want me to stop the share now? And maybe do we stop the recording
Yes, I'll stop
now?
that.
Okay. And shall